Well, and good day. So, I'm pretty much making a video today, just ranting about stuff because this. So, fires recently forced the closure of the Bissell Center, just their community space. And this is the very short message of it. Doesn't really matter. Basically, what happens is somebody had a small fire outside, and they closed the community center. I think this is a little bit ridiculous. Why? Because A, we live in Canada, and it's fucking cold. B, I've had like 5 fires outside of my place. They're small. The homeless people just start them because it's cold and there's not a lot of places to go. We have had a problem in Alberta and Edmonton especially with the advocates of these homeless groups fighting to keep people in encampments, keep people on the streets, and keep people outside. Why? Mostly because they say it's cultural. They mostly say that it's a big thing with Aboriginal people and generational violence, and it's bullshit. Um, these advocates are the ones who are causing people to die on the streets here because these advocates are the people who are fighting to keep people on the streets. And yeah, now that they've had a small fire, they've made the problem worse. Like I said, I've had 5 at my place, and we put them out, or we call the fire department. We don't have the luxury of closing our own houses because yeah, that's just not an option. How many people is this displacing? Hundreds. Hundreds of people are now in the streets going to be starting fires otherwhere in other places because this isn't solving the problem. Until further notice, how many people don't have phones, don't have computers, don't have access to the internet, and are not going to see this, and are going to show up at the Bissell Center hoping to have warmth, food, and clothing, and get none of that. Yeah, this is the problem. We have gone through years of open drug use on the streets, and it did not help. During Pekaween 2020, a lot of people might know about like the land back movements and all those camps. Well, guess what? The advocates during Pekaween, they fought to have buses be free. They fought to allow camps outside, and that's been their mantra for the last almost 5 years. These people are the problem when we're dealing with the hardcore homelessness, because they need to expand. No, the Boyle Street just opened up the new Jay Thunderbird Center. Huge facility. Why do they need to expand? Why are these organizations constantly focused on expansion? Why? I don't know. But if they're expanding, they're not solving the fucking problem. All right, next. So, let's say you're on the edge of being homeless. Now, this is a very typical story of somebody who very much could get help. This is James. This is a guy who says Westlock, homeless in Westlock for several years, open about the emotional toll of life on the street and longing for comfort, home, family, and friendship. This is a very typical story. Basically, he's gone through enough shit that his friends don't want to deal with him anymore. His family doesn't want to deal with him anymore, probably because, well, he's probably an asshole at times. And you know what? He actually says somewhere in here somebody did offer to help him, but he knows he's hard to handle. Yes, she can't help me because I'm too difficult, he said with a cheerful tone. So you know what? These are people who know that they might not necessarily get along with a lot of people, but does that mean that they need to, be left to die in the streets? No. And here is where really get annoyed because my history, I grew up in group homes since I was 11. I have volunteered with multiple groups during that time in group homes to try and solve these problems. I went to school to be a frontline support worker working mostly in addictions, and then I also went to school to be an education assistant. This here is the most typical story that I ever hear. This guy applying for Alberta Income Assistance AISH program is out of the question, and he would prefer to work, but said he can't find a job. So he is like too physically, too mentally able to work for AISH. But he does apply and fall into the category for income assistance so that he can help get on his feet. Or maybe find some work programs or something else to do that. However, this income assistance program, and I bet you big money that they sent him through Lethbridge office, the Lethbridge assessment office, they do this. They have a rot or drop program where if you fit into their diversity criteria, they'll let you sit on this program and rot. Even if you are applicable for something like AISH, they will not help you. They do not support you. They do not give you any sort of assistance. They just expect you to figure out everything on your own. They're social workers who went to school. They're people who should be developing program, developing assistance, and figuring out based on the problem. They do more to try and deny you than anything else. If you try to appeal this, you have 30 days to appeal a notice. I actually had to go on income assistance. I applied for it on October. I applied and got denied on October 3rd of this year. I applied for an appeal on October 20th, and then I was told by the appeal office that I am denied for not of submitting my appeal within 30 days. So these offices have no idea what's going on. Uh, yeah, and that's the problem. Like people will fit into this, and then you get social workers who their biases are what actually are keeping people homeless. So yeah, we can look at whatever we want. You could say it's generational trauma. You could say it's addiction. You could say it's this. But you know what? Nothing gets better when you have a bunch of people who are sitting at the height of privilege, making decisions on other people's lives, and saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to give you $100 instead of the 530 that I promised you." When the minimum in Alberta or the maximum in Alberta is like 922, and they'll just give you whatever maximum number that they want to give you. Before they've told me that it was 723 when I had a friend who was on there for 922, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, are you guys lying? You guys fibbing? It's a thing. I implore you, anybody who's reading this, go apply for income assistance. Go and talk to those workers. Go and see how much they will gladly just let you rot and die, and then come back and try to solve this homelessness issue, because the prevention of homelessness starts with income assistance. We don't need universal basic income. We don't need any of that shit. We got all these programs. We have them here. We just need to actually allow people who need to be on them, and stop judging people. And you want to know the kind of things that I've been denied for in the past? Because, like I said, been in group homes, had some struggles. Some of my stuff is, my hands and feet swell and I shake, so I can't work 24/7. I can only work part time. So, things that I have been told lower my chances of getting accepted. Being straight, being white, being a male. The people who most likely are to get accepted for supports are Aboriginal females, followed by females of every other race, then Aboriginal males. Then I believe it's actually African American males, and then LGBT community, and then white males, straight white males, because we are considered too employable to need help. So at that point, we are no longer talking about the situation specific to the person. We are talking about extra walls and barriers that are being put into place based on gender and race. So, we want to talk about systemic issues? There you go. You want to know why there's homeless problems? There you go. It's because the people who are working in this are fucking loons, man. I don't know what else to say. I know that there are plenty of people who know what's going on and got their shit together and are actually able to help people. But if you hear people who are saying, "Hey, we need to keep these camps going. Hey, we need to keep these things going that are keeping people outside. We need to keep people like freezing their dick bags off on fentanyl, on this stuff because it's good, because of whatever the fuck thing. Generational trauma is the most common thing that I hear." Like, no. Because guess what? The winter doesn't discriminate. Food and hunger does not discriminate. And neither should we. Thank you.